They call it a political conflict. But in the streets of Sudan, it feels like the end of the world. Dust, smoke, and silence, the kind that comes only after chaos. A city once full of life now echoes with the cries of families searching for the ones who never made it home. In Khartoum, the capital, power has become more valuable than human life. And behind every bullet, there's a signature of someone in power who profits from bloodshed. This isn't just a war for control. It's a true crime against the people. The story begins in 2023, when the uneasy alliance between Sudan's army and the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, finally collapsed. What started as a political standoff turned into one of the deadliest internal wars Africa has seen in decades. Both sides claimed to be fighting for democracy, but on the ground, ordinary citizens paid the price. Markets were burned. Hospitals looted. Mothers buried children while officials fought for headlines. The truth? The war is not about ideology. It's about money, influence, and survival. Generals who once stood side by side now trade accusations of treason while continuing to line their pockets with profits from gold, weapons, and international aid. The very people sworn to protect Sudan have turned the nation into a chessboard, and the pawns are the civilians trapped between them. But corruption didn't start with the war. It was the fuel that lit it. For years, foreign investments flowed into Sudan: oil, gold, arms, and promises. Yet, as billions entered the country, schools collapsed, hospitals starved, and citizens waited for miracles that never came. Every deal made behind closed doors strengthened the hands of the elite while weakening the people who needed help the most. When the fighting began, neighborhoods were divided overnight. Those who could flee ran toward Chad or South Sudan, walking miles under scorching heat. Those who stayed learned to live with the sound of gunfire as background noise. Aid convoys were hijacked, journalists disappeared, and power became the only currency that mattered. Still, the world watched and hesitated. Because Sudan's war isn't simple. It's tangled in regional interests, international diplomacy, and quiet indifference. The West condemns violence but fears involvement. Humanitarian groups want to help but face blocked routes and threats from militias. Every day lost means another 100 civilians caught in the crossfire. And yet, behind all the horror, there are whispers of something darker: secret funding networks, mercenaries crossing borders, and foreign powers quietly choosing sides. Documents leaked from a regional intelligence network suggest that Sudan's chaos isn't entirely homegrown. Some foreign actors have been arming factions to protect their mining and oil interests. Others benefit from the instability, knowing a fractured Sudan means easier control of its vast resources. If that's true, then this isn't just a civil war. It's an orchestrated crime, and the people of Sudan are its victims. In the middle of this storm, voices still rise from the ruins. Doctors risking their lives to save strangers. Teachers holding secret classes for children in basements. Journalists reporting truth from shadows, knowing one photo could be their last. These are the real heroes, the ones history may never name. But what happens next? Can Sudan still be saved? Experts say yes, but not by weapons or sanctions alone. The Western world must choose courage over convenience. Cut off financial lifelines to corrupt warlords and companies fueling the conflict. Support neutral humanitarian corridors to allow food and medicine to reach civilians. Protect journalists and truth-tellers so the crimes don't vanish into silence. And most importantly, amplify the stories of survivors, not the power struggles of generals. Because in the end, this isn't about politics, it's about people. Every city has a crime scene. In Sudan, the whole nation has become one. As night falls over Khartoum, gunfire fades into the distance, and the faint glow of burning rooftops paints the sky red. Somewhere, a family huddles in darkness, praying for dawn, not knowing if it will bring peace or another raid. And the world, once again, faces the question it too often avoids: when power destroys its people, does silence make us all complicit? While Sudan's streets are filled with ashes and grief, somewhere behind high walls and polished conference tables, the real warlords, the hidden hands, count their profits. this is not just a story of two generals locked in battle. It's the story of a global web of power, where politics, money, and greed intertwine to bleed a nation dry. Behind the smoke and blood, Sudan's greatest curse lies beneath its soil, gold. Once seen as the key to prosperity, it has become a magnet for corruption and foreign exploitation. For years, the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, quietly took control of Sudan's gold mines. What started as security oversight soon turned into a billion-dollar empire. Gold shipments moved across borders, into the hands of businessmen, middlemen, and eventually, powerful foreign partners. Officially, these were trade deals. Unofficially, they were laundered fortunes, funding militias, buying weapons, and prolonging the conflict. In Khartoum, corrupt officials looked the other way. For them, every ounce of gold meant another luxury car, another mansion, another offshore account. Meanwhile, the people, the ones who worked those mines under unbearable heat, saw none of it. The hidden hands stretch far beyond Sudan's borders. Weapons pour in from foreign suppliers who claim neutrality. Nations publicly calling for peace continue to sell arms through intermediaries. Some of the very governments that condemn Sudan's violence are quietly funding it through covert trade. Every side has its sponsors, and every bullet has a price tag. Even humanitarian aid has become a business. Shipments of food and medicine, meant for civilians, are often intercepted, taxed, or resold by armed groups. Each checkpoint becomes another toll booth in a system built on suffering. But this isn't chaos, it's control. Keeping Sudan unstable ensures that no single authority can stop the extraction of gold, oil, and rare minerals. For some international players, peace is bad for business. A confidential report from a Western think tank revealed that several foreign companies have secured mining contracts in areas under militia control, contracts signed not by legitimate governments, but by warlords. In return, they supply logistics, fuel, and sometimes, security assistance. It's a cycle of exploitation, a crime disguised as diplomacy. While billions move through secret bank accounts, more than 10 million Sudanese civilians are displaced, their lives shattered. Camps overflow with disease and hunger. Children draw pictures of bombs instead of dreams. For them, peace talks are just words, distant, meaningless, drowned by the sound of drones. And yet, the world remains silent. Why? Because those who could stop the war have too much to lose if it ends. To understand Sudan's pain, you must follow the money. It doesn't end in Africa, it runs through Dubai, Moscow, London, and Washington. Gold becomes cash. Cash becomes contracts. Contracts become influence. And with each deal, Sudan sinks deeper into the abyss. Still, amid the ruin, the human spirit refuses to die. Grassroots movements rise in hidden corners, young activists demanding justice, women organizing secret schools, and journalists documenting every crime at great personal risk. They are the light breaking through Sudan's darkest night. The truth is simple, but brutal: this war isn't just about power. It's about profit. And until the hidden hands are exposed, until those benefiting from Sudan's destruction are held accountable, peace will remain a distant dream. But the people of Sudan are watching. The world is watching. And history will remember not just the crimes that were committed, but the silence that allowed them to happen. They called it peace, but in Khartoum, peace has no sound. Only whispers. Only ghosts. The war may have slowed, but the wounds are open. The city once filled with laughter and trade now breathes through broken windows. Shadows move through empty streets, survivors, journalists, spies, and those who know too much. This is where the truth hides. And this is where justice begins. In the chaos of war, evidence vanished. But not all of it. A small team of whistleblowers, former government analysts, human rights lawyers, and journalists, began collecting fragments of truth. Hidden ledgers. Leaked contracts. Satellite images of gold shipments and private jets leaving Sudan at midnight. Their goal wasn't revenge. It was exposure. They named their secret operation Project Azadi, meaning freedom. Each file uncovered another layer of corruption: shell companies, offshore accounts, fake NGOs used to move money out of the country while civilians starved. And at the heart of it all? The same powerful figures who once stood before cameras calling for peace, the same men who secretly financed the war they condemned. For the first time, names began to surface, not just Sudanese generals, but international businessmen, lobbyists, and politicians. Emails linked them. Payments traced them. And suddenly, the world's narrative began to crack. The West could no longer pretend it didn't know. The hidden hands had fingerprints, and now, they were visible. But truth is dangerous in Sudan. One of the whistleblowers was found dead near the Nile, ruled a drowning. Another vanished at a checkpoint. Yet, their files had already been uploaded to secure international servers. Within weeks, media outlets in London, Paris, and New York began receiving encrypted drives, evidence of corruption, exploitation, and war crimes. The world finally looked up. The illusion of civil conflict shattered, revealing what it really was: a coordinated crime against humanity, fueled by greed and global complicity. Justice, it never comes easy. The International Criminal Court reopened investigations. Sanctions were proposed. But for the victims, justice wasn't a headline, it was survival. In the refugee camps, people still buried their dead. In hospitals, doctors still worked without medicine. And in Khartoum, the ghosts of the past still walked, nameless, unheard, demanding remembrance. Yet even in ruin, hope found a way. Young Sudanese activists began broadcasting from hidden locations, live streams showing the world the truth their leaders tried to bury. Women led protests demanding accountability. Artists painted murals over bullet holes, turning scars into symbols of resistance. Their message was clear: you can kill a body, but you can't silence a nation. And what of the Western world? They stand at a crossroads, between empathy and indifference. If they act, through diplomacy, fair trade, and humanitarian support, they can help rebuild what was lost. But if they stay silent, the cycle will begin again. Another leader, another war, another prophet. The people of Sudan do not ask for charity. They ask for justice. For transparency. For a world that values lives more than contracts. The ghosts of Khartoum will never rest until the truth is told. Their whispers will haunt every boardroom, every embassy, every man who profited from their pain. Because justice isn't found in courts alone, it's found in memory. And memory never dies. This is not just Sudan's story. It's a warning to the world, a reminder that when power and greed rule unchecked, humanity becomes collateral damage. And somewhere in the silence, the ghosts still wait. The end.